And it's been another week. Today, if you are watching this on Sunday, the day I uploaded it, Sunday, October 11th, let's all congratulate Craig and China Benzine on being married. Craig and China are married. I don't have any footage for you because I'm shooting this on Saturday, and this is uploading on the day that, by the time you're watching this, they should be husband and wife at this point. That's awesome. You guys are fantastic, and I can't wait for you to spend forever together. So congratulations to them. Today we're going to have another special guest, Samuel Pratt White. Today we're going to talk about how conversations themselves have become content. And then the conversation kind of morphed into something else, very nostalgia-based, and something very close to my heart. So check it out. Just thinking about how, like, movies aren't movies anymore, and shows aren't shows. It's all content now. And what we've come down to, basically, is how even conversations are content. So I thought we would talk today with Samuel Pratt White, who's been part of the Pops audience for a little while?
Yeah, since episode 4.
Okay, you've been around since 2010.
Yeah, it's been a little while.
He's got this podcast called the Video Shop Podcast. They did a whole episode on him showing his co-host all of Pops in one sitting. You having watched them before, and then your co-host Cal?
Yeah.
He had never seen any of them. And so he starts out with the very kind responses being like, it's good, there's some stuff in there. And then as the podcast episode goes on, you kind of hear him get more involved, and you kind of being like, just wait. and like that dynamic, it was great for me to hear, for me to listen to.
Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed it, despite our excessive language.
Oh, no. Most of the podcasts I listen to are very languagey, but since the Pops audience, since Pops isn't languagey, I like to make sure people know what is ahead.
Yeah,
so like,
absolutely.
Why did you want to start a podcast?
Well, I've done a lot of blogging stuff in the past. Me and my co-host on the Video Shop podcast, Cal, who's also a big fan of the show, he specifically said he wants to tell you how good your version of time travel is. We were both huge fans of Doctor Who.
Sure.
And whenever we would catch up, which wasn't that regularly, but we'd end up just talking about Doctor Who for like an hour and a half. And we're like, we should record this. Share it with other people. That first episode was on Doctor Who, and then we instantly strayed to other media, other content. And it kind of gave us an excuse to have that conversation. We always were saying, we should catch up more often and talk about this kind of stuff. But we never had an excuse to, and recording it was the perfect excuse.
Right. If you're sitting there talking with your friend now, conversations no longer carry the weight of let's just have this discussion together. Now, unless it's being recorded, that conversation hardly counts, you know?
It turned around now to the point where when we're having a normal conversation, we're like, we should be recording this. This is funny. We'll go see a movie and we'll be silent in the car because we have to wait till we get home to say anything.
What would you define your podcast as now? Is it still mainly a Doctor Who conversation podcast?
Not even remotely. I would say it's more movie related now than anything else. But I do a YouTube channel as well.
Do you watch a lot of YouTube?
I do, a bit, yeah. Less than I used to. I used to heavily watch tons of vloggers and all that. I've kind of gone off that a little bit.
People just kind of phase in and out of things. I'm not watching a bunch of stuff I was watching a couple years ago. You find new stuff and you kind of start gravitating toward that, and the other stuff just kind of gets unwatched in your sub box. And I was just thinking about my relationship with YouTube lately, and if I have a busy day, I miss most of anything that went up that day.
Yeah.
Now that they have that load more option at the bottom of the page, you can't just scroll forever. Like, I'll load more maybe once and like scroll to the bottom of that and I'll be like, what's on, Final Girl blog.
Yeah, you'll go look specifically for what you want to watch. Everything I tend to watch now is movie related.
Absolutely. Like, as soon as I found Chris Stuckman and like the Schmoes Know guys.
Yeah, Chris Stuckman's fantastic. Screen Junkies, Cinema Sins.
I have a little bit of a prejudice against Cinema Sins. Screen Junkies for sure, and Cinefix is incredible.
Cinefix is fantastic.
But the people that I watch on YouTube are either vloggers because they're really great personalities, with a really great way of putting things or a really great perspective on something.
It's the person they're listening to rather than the content. They feel close to that person, they like listening to that person.
But it's not something that people will then schedule their time around either.
Yeah, no, absolutely. They'll watch it when convenient to them. But that's the brilliance of YouTube and online content in general. That you don't have to, unlike, traditional TV. Australia only recently got Netflix, but since it came out, my TV viewers drop to nothing. But you have access to that content at any time, and it's always there.
But that's the thing, it's always there, and you know that there's gonna be more, so if you miss one, you're like, yeah, I'll just catch the next one. Like, it's not one of those things where you need to catch every installment of it, because it's just somebody's life. And now that people are getting accustomed to that, like, oh, I missed that one, I missed that one, I missed it, well, it's fine, I'll just keep... It's kind of a different way of us interacting with content. We used to be all destination viewing. If I want to see this thing, I need to go to this place at this time and look at it.
Yeah.
It doesn't carry the weight that it used to carry.
We don't have to wait for it, which is fantastic. I hate waiting for things.
So you don't feel any kind of sort of nostalgia for any of the way things used to be?
I mean, I do to an extent. My podcast is named after something that is extinct now, video shops.
Oh.
I'm very nostalgic for video shops. We had a little independent one around from the corner from us when we were growing up. Naming it the video shop, I think, has alienated everyone under the age of 20. It was the thrill of, alright, we're going to go to the video shop, we're going to get to see something new tonight. And now that experience is instant, takes that sense of rarity out of it.
Yeah. It's easier to find things, but it somehow still makes it harder to find specific things. Like, if I want to see a movie that was made a few years ago and it wasn't like a super huge blockbuster, tracking it down can be a pain.
Yeah.
I guess a lot of stuff is on Amazon, but then when all the stuff comes out about like how Amazon treats their employees and you're like, maybe I shouldn't be doing Amazon right now. It's not on Netflix, it's not on Hulu. And then you start scrolling through everything and you're like, they don't even rent it on iTunes. I gotta buy it on iTunes. I don't want to own it. I just want to rent it. I'll pay $3 to go to a video store and rent it. I'll pay $5 to rent it one time. I don't want to pay $9 and own it because nobody wants to own that movie. I miss video stores so much. Most Friday nights was like, let's go to the video store. Let's go to the video store and just see what they have. Maybe they'll have something really amazing that I haven't even heard of.
Yeah, our podcast we're trying to use as a vessel to relive that, I think, a little bit. So we've got like an overnight rental segment where we talk about new movies, and then a weekly rental segment where we talk about old movies.
I love that so much. That same tone of experience I don't have that with my Netflix queue. I don't have to make the perfect choice. They're all there for me.
Yeah, you can start watching a Netflix movie, and if it's terrible, you turn it off. It hasn't cost you anything. You can start watching something else.
Yeah.
At a video shop, if you get a bad movie, you have to watch that whole movie.
And I miss that. I miss that experience.
So that disappointment of renting a bad movie and going, oh, we've made a terrible mistake.
The fact that you can just start something and end it so easily has devalued everything surrounding the movie industry as well. Like, you don't have to hinge on reviews anymore because you can start and stop something. You don't have to, like, read between the lines of the box art to know that this one is better than this one that has the same kind of presentation. You had to be a movie detective in the video store days to really find the best stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Our conversation turned more into about nostalgia for video stores than I expected.
It's alright.
Well, dude, I just really appreciate you doing that whole podcast about Pops. That was super cool.
No worries.
Yes, so thank you very much, Samuel Pratt White, for coming on and talking to us about content and about video stores. Today's question is about the intro to Pops. Our channel video for non-subscribers is that intro to Pops video, intro to Pops in 85 seconds, which will be the third link under Samuel's channels in the dubs today. I know you've probably already seen it, intro to Pops in 85 seconds, and it ends in that selectable screen and takes you to episodes 1 through 8. Now, every year I have to redo that because we have a new episode coming out, and I lose all the views from the previous year. We're finally at another respectable view count for that thing, and we're losing them all. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that when we get to 10. So I'm going to make a intro to Pops in however long it takes. It might be the one that's up there for forever. It's going to have spots for all 10 episodes, and I'll just black out the 10th one with like an annotation or like a card so that 1 through 9 will be selectable and we won't lose the view counts when I have to make the next one for 10. So when it comes to the intro to Pops videos, this one has been very useful. Every time I show it to someone, they're like, wow, yeah, that looks good. So like, I don't want to change it too much. A lot of it's going to be the same. My question to you this week is there anything from the series that you'd like to see in there that's not too spoilersy? Anything that either relates to the humor or maybe the action or anything about the show that you would like to see in there more that you don't quite see, or anything that's in that one that you don't think should be? Let me know what you think in the comments and I will take that into consideration because this intro to Pops is going to be up there for ever. This is the one that'll be up for maybe until the apocalypse destroys the internet, you know? Last week's question was Child's Play series or Saw series for this year's Night Marathon, and it's going to be...
I'm Chucky.
Child's Play. Chucky. It was by a very narrow margin. Just by like 4 votes, I think, at the end of the day. On all the platforms. Facebook, Twitter, and in the YouTube comments. So that's where we stand, Chucky versus Jigsaw. Actually, their statures are appropriate. Their actual physical sizes. Chucky and Jigsaw would be a good matchup. Although I think Chucky would probably... Yeah, Chucky would destroy Jigsaw. I think Jigsaw's a little reliant on that tricycle he rides. Whereas Chucky seems very mobile. Congratulations again to Craig and China for being an amazing, now married, couple. Let me know what you think about Intro to Pops in the comments. That's the Pops logo. You guys are awesome, and I will see you next week.